welcome back everyone, and today at Lambourn End we're visiting the stables and our horses and our ponies, and looking especially at the way we work with them. Horses have an interesting position on the farm. They have this lovely stable area for them, and that's because traditionally horses served a key purpose on the farm. Before the times of tractors etc, without having a horse, a farmer couldn't get through their work. They wouldn't have the horse to plough the fields or run the milk to market or even transport people around. So horses were always taken great care of on farms, always kept in the buildings close to the farmers' houses, and they were really well looked after so that the farmer could get on and do their work. So at Lambourn End we have 3 horses or ponies that we work with, and I'm just going to introduce you to them now. So if she sticks her head over the door, we've got Rosie here, who's one of our horses, or who is our horse. We've got Basil, our little Shetland pony, who's hiding at the moment, and you'll get to see him in a minute. And we've got Bob here, okay, who is another of our ponies. So we're going to get the horses out for you, so that we can see them in greater detail.
Hi guys, so we're going to clip Bob on. So this is his head collar, this is your nose, and this goes over the back of the ears. So you want to be standing on the left of the horse because most things clip on to the left of the horse. Just want to slip it over the nose. Oh, he's standing like a good boy. Goes over the ears, and then you want to clip it to the point where you can fit 4 fingers. And after that, you can then get your lead rope, and underneath most head collars there is a small ring that you just clip the lead rope to. Once at the tie ring, you want to do a quick release knot, and that is just so you can release your animal quickly. Go under to make a circle, go up and just pull through and leave this bit dangling.
So as you've seen, we've got the 3 animals here. 2 of these are ponies and 1's a horse. So I'm going to leave you to have a think about which one is the horse and which 2 are the ponies. If you don't know the difference is just in height. So we measure horses in hands. So basically from the ground, we measure in hands up the side, just to the bottom of the mane there, we measure in hands. If they are less than 14 hands and 2 fingers, then they're classed as a pony. But if they're 14 hands and 2 fingers or more, then they're classed as a horse. So, Basil here is very clearly a pony, and as we said, he's a Shetland pony. So then it's down to Bob or to Rosie as to which one is the horse. And in fact, Bob is our other pony because he's only about 14 hands, 1 finger, so he's about the biggest pony that you could get. Whereas Rosie is 14 hands and 3 fingers, so she is about the smallest horse you get. If she's any smallest, you'd be classed a pony. In the same way that if Bob was any bigger, he'd be classed as a horse. As traditionally horses were always used for work, that's exactly what these 3 are still used for at Lambourn End. So we use these to give rides to people that come on visits, and that's what we're going to be doing today. But before we do that, we have to do something called grooming the horses, and that's not just to make them look nice. The main point is for health and safety, so that we can make sure that there is no mud, dirt, old hair that's going to rub underneath the harnessing that we put on. So I'm going to hand over to Amy, and she's going to talk us through the different brushes that we use.
Hi guys, so I'm going to quickly explain what grooming brushes we use on our horses and ponies here at Lambourn End. So as you can see, each horse has their own individual grooming. This is to stop cross-contamination, so each brush that's in this box is just for this horse. So we're going to groom Rosie, so I will explain which brush she's used for. So we start off normally with something called a dandy brush, which is this one here. So as you can see, it's quite a stiff bristle brush. It's very coarse, not really soft. You don't tend to use this on horses that have a very fine coat or summer coats much. So this brush is mainly used to get all the mud and grease off of a horse's coat. So especially when it's been raining and the horses have been for a lovely roll in the field, you will find they tend to come in very, very muddy. So I'm just going to quickly go over Rosie with a dandy brush. Yeah. So it's very important that when you're grooming your horses, you don't startle them, especially because they might get frightened. So what you do, you start at the head and work your way along the body. Good girl, good girl. And then the next brush we have. So this is a slightly softer dandy brush. So this is what I call a flick brush. You mainly use this after your dandy brush. So again, this sort of works similar to a body brush, which you'll see on Basil's kit. It's very fine, very soft, just gives them a nice shine over, gives them a once over with the coat, makes them nice and clean and shiny. So we'll go over that with Rosie. So because Rosie hasn't got a very thick coat, we don't really need to use many brushes on her. You'll see, as you can see here, the flick brush is doing quite a nice job of getting all the loose hair, all the dust off of her. It's very important that we do down their legs and under their bellies as well, because when we put their tack on, we don't want anything to get caught or stuck, because it can make them quite sore. Next up we have our mane and tail comb. You can also get them that look a bit like a hairbrush, but for our kits we have them as little combs. So these literally work, like I said, like a hairbrush. Just run it through their manes and tails nice and gently. So when you're doing a horse's tail, good girl, it's very important that you make the horse aware of what you're doing, because obviously horses can be quite frightened quite easily. Good girl. They can be frightened quite easily, so it's very important that you make them aware of what you're doing at all times. So I'm just going to quickly run my hand along her bum, just so she knows that I'm there. Give her a little scratch. Then I'm going to bring the tail round to the side of me. It's very important that we don't ever stand directly behind a horse, as obviously as they can kick out if they're frightened, or even if they're just unhappy. So a horse will always let you know if they're not happy with you doing something by their body language. So they'll use their ears. So if they're flat back against their head, it means they're not happy, they're a little bit upset. So the best thing to do is just step back, take your time, and not brush things. So when we brush a tail, we always brush the ends out first, again, like you would brush your own hair. Another way you can also go through your horse's tail is with your fingers. So you can just very gently, again, take the tail to the side and just run your fingers through it nice and gently. Again, you can use brushes, but sometimes they do tend to remove a lot of the tail hair, so using your fingers is a good way to do it, as it doesn't remove anything and you still get all the knots out. And then last but not least, we have our hoof pick. So this is used to clean out the horse's hooves. So especially when they're coming from the field, it's very important that you pick out your horse's feet, just because obviously if there's any stones or any rocks in there that shouldn't be there, it can actually cause their feet to bruise, and then they can go very sore on their feet. So I'm going to slide my hand down her leg and ask her to pick it up for me, which she's done very nicely. So as you can see, I'm cupping her hoof with my hand, making sure it's nice and secure. So I'm going to start at the top of the horseshoe. So as you can see, Rosie has horseshoes fitted. Then we start in the top corner and pick down. We don't ever pick up with a hoof pick, just because obviously if she was to move her leg really quickly, it might then accidentally get me in the face. But as well, it can also hurt her. So it's very important that we always follow the line of the hoof and the line of the shoe, following it all the way around. Make sure we get right into the corners, make sure there's no mud trap there. And then once we're happy with that, we turn it over, use our brush, and give it a little brush out. There you go, nice clean hoof. Right, and then she's all ready to be tucked up.
She's now all ready to go into the car. So I now have control of Rosie. Stand, Rosie. So I have hold of the 2 reins, which are connected to her mouth. So when I'm ready for her to go, I'm just going to say, okay Rosie, walk on, little flick of the reins, and off, and we're off. And then if I want her to turn left slightly, I'll pull on the left rein. If I want her to turn right slightly, I'll pull on the right rein. And when I want her to stop, I'll pull on both. But I have to talk to her continually to get her to listen to me, and most of my instructions will be done by talking to her. She's got blinkers on the side of her head to stop her getting too distracted, but in Rosie's case that tends to mean that she turns her head so she can see what's going on around her. So that's about it. Let's give Rosie a run. Normally we'd be taking lots of pastures, but at the moment we're just doing it to keep Rosie well exercised. So all we've got to do now is get her out of the cart. So Amy's taking her head. I'm going to jump myself down, and again we'll tuck the reins up well out of the way, and then we'll start working in reverse. This is a bit I've been looking forward to. Haven't been in and done some work. I now get to go out in the field and have a run round and run through some nice wet grass. Nice it. Can't be looking all neat and tidy, haven't had a groom. Must have a roll. You got itchy back, Rose?
Almost made it all the way over.
Whee! Oh, you're all mucky again now. Okay, so there we have it. That's how a pony and cart session works when groups come and visit. We're keeping that going so that the horses stay exercised. And but as you can see now, until next time, they're going to be out in the field, eating some grass, having a roll round, and staying happy. So we'll leave you to it, Bob. Okay, we'll see you all soon.